Hey everyone, Shabba Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of our WWE 2K16 Universe Mode. Right, as you can probably tell by the title of this video, this is going to be the first of our two sets of Global Cruiserweight Championship quarter-final matches. This first episode, we are going to see Jack Evans taking on Andrew Everett and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Kushida. And then next week, we'll see Jushin Liger taking on Phoenix, and of course, Will Ospreay taking on Matt Sydal. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first match, Jack Evans versus Andrew Everett. And there is confirmation of that match, Jack Evans versus Andrew Everett. Of course, Jack Evans qualified through the Mexican qualifiers, and Andrew Everett qualified through the American qualifiers. And here we go. So NXT in Sacramento, California, is that right? Have I made that up? We got some fireworks. I don't often get fireworks. That's pretty cool. Don't normally get that. And we are ready then for our first match. And like we said before, the quarterfinals are taking place here in NXT. And then I think the semi-finals will take place in a couple of weeks' time. I know I've been saying Smackdown, but I think they're actually going to take place on main event. And then, of course, it will be crowning our first crowning our first Cruiserweight champion for the Smackdown brand in a special pay-per-view taking place in about 3 weeks' time. Which would be pretty damn cool. We're going to showcase all of the brand new talent. Of course, everyone who has competed in this Global Cruiserweight Championship so far will all be joining the Smackdown roster on its completion. And of course, the Cruiserweight Championship will be put into full use as well. So it's really going to add a lot to Smackdown. And we've seen some cracking matches already. If you've not seen the match in the Mexican qualifiers between Jack Evans and... Oh, who was it now? Who did Jack... I think it was Aerostar. Jack Evans and Aerostar. I suggest you go back and watch that one. That's one of the best matches I think I've seen on this game. It was incredible. And here we see Andrew Everett coming in. Now, Andrew Everett was someone who I saw first in Combat Zone Wrestling. The same with a lot of wrestlers. They seem to get a lot of their big breaks, so most time in Combat Zone Wrestling. He then went across and made his debut for PWG. Unfortunately, he had such a fantastic match at PWG, and then he got injured, and he was out for like nearly a year. Since then, he's come back, and he's just gone from strength to strength, and now, of course, he is working for TNA as well. But really a top class wrestler with a dodgy entrance. S-A-W-F-T, soft. Yeah, I'll have to change that at some point. So yeah, he's done well, Andrew Everett, and as somebody I'm surprised that didn't turn up in the Global Cruiserweight Championship, because he is really one of the best high flyers on the indie scene at the moment, and it's good to see him. Doesn't Jack Evans look a hell of a lot like Chris Sabin there? It's good to see him in this competition, and it's good to see him on TV and TNA, but it'd be great to see him on WWE. I know WWE have gone a little bit crazy now with the signings, and been reading today on my phone just a couple of minutes ago before I started recording this, that apparently WWE are... Well, it's already been sort of announced they're going to sign Tommy End in their next set of signings, which is probably going to be about August time. Also, Moose as well from Ring of Honor is almost a dead cert, and they reckon joining those two will be Noam Dar, the Scottish wrestler who is part of the Global Cruiserweight Championship, and somebody I've mentioned a few times I've reckoned would get signed up pretty soon because of his ability to speak Arabic as well, and with all the WWE tours they do over in Arabic countries, it'd definitely be a massive advantage to them. And also a guy called Big Damo, which sort of surprised me a little bit. Nothing against Big Damo, I just didn't think he was going to be the sort of style of wrestler that WWE would go for. But yeah, it's a good one, that. And if that is the case, and all four of those do get signed up with WWE, I'll be very, very happy. And I also read that WWE are doing everything they possibly can to try and sign up Will Ospreay as well. They're actually a little bit annoyed that Ospreay went to New Japan, but they are apparently, from what I read on my phone on Lords of Pain a few minutes ago, WWE even considering trying to buy the contract off of New Japan. That's how interested they are in trying to get a hold of Will Ospreay. But I can't imagine New Japan are going to go too easy, considering that they've just pushed Will Ospreay to win their Best of the Super Juniors tournament. I can't imagine they're going to let him go too easily. And WWE might just have to wait. They need to take... I don't know why that they haven't taken these people when they had the chance. It was plainly obvious as soon as Ospreay made his debut for New Japan, they were going to try and bring him in full time. And it's the same sort of thing with Ricochet. WWE had the opportunity. Ricochet was at one of the tryouts a couple of years ago. They said no. They didn't think the the timing was right for Ricochet. And then he signs up for Lucha Underground. As soon as he signs up for Lucha Underground, they want him all of a sudden. It's like, if you just signed him at the beginning, there wouldn't have been any problems, would there? But there you go. That's the way the world works, I suppose. I would imagine they've learnt from their mistakes, and as they go on into the future, they'll be signing people up a bit quicker. Great Falcon Arrow there by Andrew Everett. And a standing shooting star press. No idea who I would consider the favourite for this match. Now, I did mention him on the American qualifiers, sorry, the Mexican qualifiers. I said that Jack Evans was Canadian, but I always thought he was Canadian, but I've been informed in the comments section that he's actually American. I don't know why. I don't know. I thought he was Canadian. I'll double check on the old Wikipedia while I've got you here. No, yeah, he was born in California. Why did I think he was Canadian? Does he live in Canada or? That's really confused me. That is. I just convinced he was Canadian. Either way, doesn't matter, does it really? So yeah, Jack Evans, well, this is an all-American tie then, really, although Jack Evans, I did put him part of the Mexican qualifier since he has been working now for AAA since 2008, which is 8 years. So I've classed him as one of the Mexican wrestlers, mainly because the American qualifiers were full at that time, so yeah, that's the main reason. Jack Evans now flips over the top of Andrew Everett. Everett runs straight into the turnbuckle, ducking the clothesline. Evans comes back with a clothesline of his own. Standing corkscrew moonsault there by Jack Evans. Is that going to be enough to keep Andrew Everett down and put him through to the semi-finals? It's not. It's only enough for a 2 count. So just remember how much is really at up for grabs in this tournament. Really, not only will you win the Global Cruiserweight Championship, you become the first Cruiserweight Champion on the Smackdown roster. A chance to main event that Global Cruiserweight Championship pay-per-view coming up in 3 weeks' time. It's a real sort of thing that could really just send your career skyrocketing just from the day you walk into this universe mode. Everett's up on top. He likes to utilise the shooting star press, but this time I went for the moonsault. Oh, I was close. I thought that the referee stopped counting them before Jack Evans kicked out, I think. One thing that Andrew Everett can do as well, I've never seen him hit it, but I've seen him go for it a couple of times, is the double moonsault. It does exist, people. It does exist. I've never seen him hit it, but I have heard rumours. And I saw him try it in PWG last year and he missed it. Couple of big elbows there by Andrew Everett. And a drop kick as well to Jack Evans. And I did mention as well that also on that Global Cruiserweight Championship pay-per-view, we're going to have a 6-man ladder match, and that 6-man ladder match will determine the first and number one contender for that Cruiserweight Championship as well. I really want to see 6 high flyers in a ladder match. That's what I really want to see. So that's just the way of getting it onto the card. And of course, we'll also see a couple of new tag teams as well. We're going to have Angelico and Jack Evans, both on the Smackdown roster. That's going to bring together the Sky Blondes, as we had in our Global Force Wrestling Universe mode beforehand. We also have team of Marty Skull and Zack Sabre Jr., leaders of New School. And who else do we have? I'm sure there was another one as well. Sure, there was another tag team as well. Well, Jack Evans just folding Andrew Everett in half there. My mind's going blank trying to remember what this tag team is. I don't know. I might be wrong, actually. It might be the only 2 tag teams. Of course, we do have the Lucha Dragons in the SmackDown roster already, so 3 good Cruiserweight tag teams. What if we can bring in some sort of Cruiserweight tag team championship in the future as well? I know I'm trying to figure out the best way I can do it, because I would love to try and get Neville over onto SmackDown. Potentially Hideo Itami as well. Both those guys over in Nitro at the moment. I think both those guys would be fantastic assets to the Cruiserweight division. So we're going to have to offer Nitro something special to try and get those guys to come over to us. And I can't imagine at the moment just who would have to give to Nitro. But I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement. As Andrew Everett again, that's only enough for a 2 count. But again, it looked like a 3 to me. The referee's hand looked like it hit the mat 3 times, but evidently that wasn't the case. Everett now just bringing Jack Evans' neck and top of his back across his knee. Very painful move, and now Everett goes up. Is he going to look at that shooting star press potentially? He does, and he hits it absolutely beautifully straight into the pin. Referee slow getting down, but it still might be enough too. And 3, and there we go. Andrew Everett picks up the victory, and he is the first man confirmed through to the semi-finals of the Global Cruiserweight Championship, defeating and eliminating Jack Evans. So a great win here for Andrew Everett, who I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, actually defeated Ricochet in the first round, and now he's defeated Jack Evans in the quarterfinals. That's a hell of a run there by Andrew Everett, and that's the sort of run you need if you want to become the Global Cruiserweight Champion, I suppose. I'm getting confused myself now. It's not the Global, it's just the Cruiserweight Champion, not the Global Cruiserweight Champion. Why's my laptop gone all funny? My laptop keeps going crazy. See, there was the pin earlier on, and it looked to me like the referee's hand came down free. There you go. The referee could have counted 3 there. Quite evidently, the referee could have counted 3. There's that page turner, really, there by Andrew Everett. Again, was not enough to pick up the 3 count. And here's that setup. Beautiful move. Reverse backbreaker across the knee. And then up on the top rope. And here's that beautiful shooting star press. A little bit of rotation to hit it flat. And there is the 3 count. Referee very, very slow down. And that really annoys about this game. I hope that's one thing they fix on next year's game, is just fixing the referee so he's not so bloody slow all the time. So a great win here for Andrew Everett. Who is going to be joining him in the quarterfinals? We're going to find out right now as we get into our second match. And here is that second match as the British qualifier. Zack Sabre Jr. takes on one of the Japanese qualifiers, Kushida. And here we go. God, this game is a right knob end, isn't it, really? So now we've changed place from where we are. We're now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for some reason. I don't know why we set up a tournament, and for some reason it decides that it wants to change the location of the tournament every single week. Oh God, this. I don't know why it happens quite. It happens in the universe mode quite a lot as well. A lot of people probably don't notice it, but I always seem to notice it for some reason. You're just watching it and watching it and watching it, and all of a sudden you're just in a different location. I can't figure out why. You're in the same show. You just one match later on, all of a sudden you're in a different arena, you're in the same arena, just a different area. It's just, I don't know. It's another thing for 2K to add to the list of things they're going to fix for 2K17, which hopefully they're going to do pretty soon. I had pre-ordered it today. Well, in fairness, I pre-ordered everything today. I was absolutely stunned when I got to the end of doing my pre-ordering and looked at my cart to find I had £750 worth of stuff on my Amazon basket. I could not believe it. It's not too bad because obviously it comes out at different points in time, and there is the PlayStation Virtual Reality on there, which is 350 quid, and so it's not too bad. And I've got Battlefield 1, and I've got obviously WWE 2K17, which hasn't got a release date yet, but I believe it's the last couple of weeks in October again. I've also pre-ordered, I said Battlefield 1, didn't I? I pre-ordered the new Skyrim because I've never played Skyrim. It's the sort of game that I know I'd love, but I've never played it because I wanted to play Oblivion first, and I've just never got around to it. So I'm gonna buy the new Skyrim. The new Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 15, that comes out as well at the end of October. I pre-ordered that. The remake of Final Fantasy 7 as well, that comes out pretty soon. And a game that I've really become addicted to over the last few months, just watching the trailers. I've not played it because it hasn't been released as yet, but it's a game called No Man's Sky, and it's completely just different to anything I've seen before. It's a game that I would love. I know it would, because it's the sort of thing I love. And basically what it is it's an online game, but it's so massive, the chances of you finding anybody else are minuscule. And basically there's over 15 billion randomly generated planets that are generated by the computer, all to a set of standards, so they can be, depending on how far away from the sun, they could be hot, they could be cold, they could have life on them, they could They could be dangerous, they could be poisonous, they could have all these different things, and the whole point in the game is just basically to explore, collect materials, upgrade your spaceship, and then delve deeper into the universe. But there is like enemy ships and friendly ships and all that sort of stuff. It just looks like a really fun game. So I have pre-ordered that, and probably once I get it, I'll probably upload a bit of footage from it as well, just to show you guys in case it does tickle anyone's fancy. But enough of me talking random crap about stuff. I've been watching a lot of E3 the last couple of days. That's why I've got a bit crazy and pre-ordered loads of stuff. But yeah, let's get back into the match here, because at the moment Kushida is doing a fantastic job here over Zack Sabre Jr. Zack is one of the people I would love to see win the Global Cruiserweight Championship, and for me, Zack Sabre Jr. is someone I would love to see WWE sign up. He's probably one of the best in the world right now. In my opinion, between him and Ricochet, the two best in the world, and I really want to see them both in a WWE ring. And I think this Global Cruiserweight Championship is only going to strengthen Zack's chances of doing so. For me, he's a very similar style to the first Daniel Bryan. Not the Daniel Bryan that everybody loved towards the end of his career, but the Daniel Bryan who very started with the WWE. He's an incredible submission specialist. He'll completely dismantle your body in the ring. And the thing is, if Daniel Bryan had kept to that style, his career would have been a lot longer, because he started going into this crazy running around and diving around everywhere. That's what caused him to get injuries. If he just stuck to his roots of being able to lock people in the submission holds and locking in the label lock and all these different bits and bobs, he would have been absolutely fine. But all these outside dives and, well, matches against Sheamus don't help anyone's career, do they, really? So it's a bit of a shame, and that's why I'd love to see Zack Sabre Jr. in there. He is an absolute monster with just demolishing body parts, and I've actually... Whoa, there's a red arrow there by Kushida. And that could be all here. We could have a very quick match that puts Kushida through, and no, Zack Sabre Jr. kicks out on the brink of 3. Did they actually draw a watch on... Is that what it's like in real life? Has Kushida drawn a watch on his... Yeah, that must be what... Yeah, it's the time splitters, isn't it? Yeah, he must have drawn a watch on there. I forgot what I was saying now. Back Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah, I've been to a show before where Zack was at, and I was front row, and I must admit, watching him actually made me feel physically sick, because I know obviously wrestling's fake, but when you've got a guy and you're physically taking his middle finger back to almost touching his own hand, it just looks and seems like you're breaking his finger every single time, and it just makes you feel sick just watching it. It's incredible. I don't know how he gets away with it half the time. It's oh god, it's horrible. But yeah, I'd love to see him in NXT soon. And I believe, you guys might have to let me know on this one, the Global Cruiserweight Championship, is that going to be put on the network? I believe it is, isn't it? It's going to be actually on the network. It's going to take place in NXT and on the network. That's what I think is going to happen. Let me know what you think is going to happen, or if you already know what's going to happen. But Zack locking in a variation there, the figure 4 leg lock, and was wrenching. Was that a figure 4 leg lock, or was that an Indian death lock? It's one of the two. I'm sure there's some people out there that actually know. Zack now spins Kushida around. Dragon suplex. We've seen him win matches with this before, but he was too close to the ropes, and Kushida managed to catch his foot on the middle rope and get the rope break. A very inventive way, and very good ring positioning there by Kushida. As yeah, I'm not going to get involved with that, because I'm really struggling with that maneuver at the moment. Is that I've called that a crossface chicken wing in the past. It could also be called it could also be called a cobra clutch. I'm not very good at that sort of thing. I know the bases are most moves, but some of the submission holds I struggle with. There's the cross arm bar by Zack Sabre Jr. His finisher maneuver, which is why he probably is going to struggle in this universe mode, because submission finishes don't work. I think I'm going to adjust Zack, and I'm going to take that submission finisher. Although that's realistically what he uses, I think we need to give him something different. Otherwise, he's never going to do well. Because submission finishes on this game just don't work. No matter how much I max out the submission stats of anybody in this game, submission finishes are just not effective at the moment. Kushida in with a pin. After that reverse DDT, and there is the win, and Kushida joins Jack Evans in the semi-finals of the Global Cruiserweight Championship, and Zack Sabre Jr. has been knocked out. He's going to be gutted with that. But of course, Zack is going to be a great member of our SmackDown roster, not only part of the Cruiserweight division, but I think this guy can do well pushing forward as well, maybe into the Intercontinental Championship picture, and then of course alongside Marty Scurll as the leaders of New School, maybe in a tag team picture as well. As Kushida, you must admit, Kushida looked like he was going to win this match through the most of it. This is the red arrow, I believe, and how the cameraman didn't move while Kushida was climbing above him, I've got no idea. There's the red arrow. That's a pretty funky angle to see it from as well. But of course, that was not enough. It was so close, but it's not quite enough to keep Zack down. This is when Zack locked in his signature maneuver, the cross armbar, but again, it just wasn't enough. And you see Kushida here bringing Zack back up to his feet, and Zack tried to catch him unawares with that sidewalk slam, but Kushida rolls through into a tornado reverse DDT, and that was enough to keep Zack Sabre Jr. down. The damage had been done, and we now know 2 of our semi-finalists for the Global Cruiserweight Championship. It's going to be Jack Evans. No, it's not. What am I talking about Jack Evans for? It's going to be Andrew Everett, and it's going to be Kushida. Those 2 guys will be facing off in the first of our semi-finals. We know that for sure, because that's the way the brackets are. We saw it at the beginning of the episode. So, that's pretty interesting, that. Andrew Everett, Kushida, both through to the Global Cruiserweight Championship semi-finals. Those semi-finals taking place in a couple of weeks' time. Of course, next week we have the other 2 quarterfinals for you when we see Jushin Liger take on Phoenix and Matt Sydal take on Will Ospreay. So be sure to check that one out next week as well. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do hit that like button. It does really help me out. And of course, if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe and check out the playlists in the description below for all of our current universe mode. We've done quite a lot of this Global Cruiserweight Championship now, and there's a few more episodes yet to come. And of course, this is all part of our Smackdown roster as well. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all next week for our next set of quarterfinals in this Global Cruiserweight Championship.